Salutations, Ginger League, and welcome to Super Geeked, where we discuss the latest news in all things super. I'm your host, Rosie Hughes, and joining me this week are Andrew Durning and Kevin Tierney. Gentle dorks, how are you?
Kev, you take this one, because we always seem to talk over each other when we get asked that.
We do. I'm good. Quiet couple of days.
Not tired?
Not tired, actually.
That's normally follows up. We both go, all right, tired. We just say that's the normal dad thing.
For once, right, not tired at all.
Wow. You have coffee or something, or cocaine?
I wish.
No, that feeling all too well. And for our regular viewers, no, you are not seeing things like Susan is not here. Like she's away sunning herself in Greece, the little bitch. So we were like, right, we need another representation. And Rosie's not only a brilliant host of her own show, Rosie Hughes Reviews, and she will also be coming on to the Bro TV gang with myself and all us mad lot. Congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you very much.
That she's also very well versed in the terms of our type of culture, our pop culture, our Marvels, or DCs, that zeitgeist. So I was really glad that we're going to have you on for the next couple of episodes. So I'm really chuffed.
No, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, well, it's always a good opportunity. So before we do dive in, because you're new and obviously you've got your own kind of reviews, tell us a wee bit about it before we jump in, so Maoris can know where they can find you and stuff like
that. Well, right now the social medias are the best place. On Facebook it's Rosie Hughes Reviews, and Rosie Hughes Reviews on Instagram as well. I'm currently in the middle of sorting my Twitter. But Facebook is my common place. That's where all the fans hang out, and it's kind of overflowing now onto Instagram as well.
Nice. That must be the kind of thing like for us, because like when I started getting everything out, it was like, oh, have you got an Instagram? Have you got this? Have you got that? And I'm like, I have Facebook. I'm comfortable with Facebook. I will use that, and then I'll see how I go.
Listen, I remember the time it was Bebo and MySpace. That's where I first started.
Yep, we are in this crew. We are all right with that. Because we are all around the same age. Like, you are younger than myself. Kev is older than I am. So we're all in that little bubble. We're all good. MySpace, Bebo. Yep. I'm so glad it was deleted though, because there was tons of pictures of me looking like an emo that just should not be seen. I'd had a bad breakup and I dyed my hair like a deep red, like a purplish red. And had like the slick down that way. And because it was obviously I'm very pale taking pictures, it just looked so emo. Seriously, it was like My Chemical Romance playing in the background.
So emo, it was ridiculous.
I forgot that you saw them. Fuck,
I'd seen them.
Oh no,
yep. Stitched into my memory.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Kev.
I've not seen them.
yeah, be very glad. That was a dark time in the Force. Yeah. Well, so since you are the hostess with the mostess, as we say, Rosie, let's jump in with our first topic of conversation, researched by Kev, as I was having a bit of a ball ache with a 12-hour shift. So thank you so much, Kev, for doing that for me and stepping in. I'm slowly passing the reins over to my apprentice. So take it away, Rosie.
So the first topic that we are going to be discussing is the recent casting news from Disney, especially with this D23 Expo, and who do we think that these people are going to be playing in the MCU?
So I've seen a few interesting theories about this. I personally want to hear what Kev's thoughts are on it, because I know you've been keeping up to date with the group posts and trying to get the opinions of our fan base. So what do you think yourself, Kev?
Well, some of them were quite interesting, especially the Denzel Washington and Giancarlo Esposito. And all these posts saying, X-Men are coming soon. Obviously, these two are playing two certain characters from X-Men. And it's like, I can see it happening. I could see it. But I don't think that's where they're going to take them.
Hmm.
I think it's going to be completely off the wall. I think it's going to be somebody completely different.
Hmm.
And I think that's just fans projecting what they want. And, you know, I would love to see Denzel Washington as Magneto. That would be fantastic.
Oh,
But-
we've got a disagreement from Rosie. I'm loving this. Right, straight in, stirring the pot, Rosie. Right, why do you disagree with that?
Well, Giancarlo Esposito has been begging basically to play Professor X, so I think that he would be really, really good, especially because he's always kind of typecast as the villain. If you look at like Edgar and the boys and Moff Gideon and Star Wars, but Denzel Washington, I just think that I think he's too old to be Magneto, for one. I don't think he's actually got the evil instinct to play Magneto like Ian McKellen did and like Michael Fassbender did. I think he's too Oscar-worthy material to play that character.
In fairness, though, what Training Day, Denzel Washington played like an absolute D-nozzle. And he was
phenomenal in that.
And he was absolutely brilliant. He was fantastic. And I've seen him do like, you know, like the other types of like, you know, chivalrous roles, like from my own Shakespeare research at the time, it was Much Ado About Nothing, and I got the part that he played. I'm like, how the am I meant to follow Denzel Washington?
You can't.
You don't.
No one can.
You just don't. So in a way, I could see it, but I wonder if they could potentially do a flip, and be like, right, got you suckers. He's Magneto. Denzel Washington's Professor X. And I mean, for the too old part of it, you look at like, I mean, he's what 50, 60?
He's late 60s.
He looks old. That's the thing. I mean, no offense. I think he looks really, really good for his age, but I think that he just, when you look at like Ian McKellen, he hasn't like aged in 30 years.
That's true.
Whereas Denzel Washington, you have seen him like from like Philadelphia, how much he has gradually aged, and I personally think he doesn't look well either. That's just off the record there.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be completely on the record because I don't edit.
Oh fuck!
It's no, we swear as well. It's cool. Don't worry.
Oh no!
I encourage swearing. It's all right. Everybody that says swearing is like, you know, the language of like the uneducated. I say fuck you. So
Brilliant.
I'm always okay with that. I think it's better because you've got more vocabulary to call someone a dick.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with you, Andrew. The flip would be much better. I think again it would kind of keep Giancarlo as typecast, but I could see him play Magneto.
Yeah, definitely. There was one that I saw in the group chat what we were looking at, and it was from a guy from the Endless Celts podcast who I've been on a few times, John Tomlinson, and he'd mentioned Mads Mikkelsen for Dr. Doom. Now that's an interesting choice, and John is a vet. That's his favorite character is Dr. Doom. So he could probably do a full dissertation on it, but for just for us, what do you think that could bring? I mean, imagine Dr. Doom as Hannibal Lecter, essentially.
I know. I mean, he's really good at taking apart and just completely making it on his own. Every character that he's played, that other people have played, it's like you can't remember any other people that have played it after he's done it. After he played Hannibal, it's like, who else can you pick? If they're going to go and do Hannibal again, you either get him or you get Anthony Hopkins back. That's it. No offense to Brian Cox, who was great in Manhunter, and they didn't bring him back. But Anthony Hopkins took it up another level, and then Mads Mikkelsen came in and took it to like the top level. There's nothing above that. You can't go any higher.
It's very true.
I also said as Doom, Christoph Waltz.
Yes.
Good choice.
Love Christoph Waltz. Like I remember going to see Inglourious Bastards like for the very first time in the cinema, and that entire first scene, I was like glued. And I looked at my brother and I was like, he's gonna get an Oscar, guaranteed. And he just looked at me. He's like, "You just got a hard on for Christoph Waltz, you gay."
Yup. Yup, I have.
And I'm
Cool.
like, yes, because his acting's that damn good.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I made sure to watch the Oscars that year he won it. I just burst down the door in my brother and went, fucking tell you. And he's like, what? Because he was like half cut at the time. He didn't have a clue.
And then he went and completely flipped it. He's never been typecast. He flipped it when he done Django.
Oh,
just
definitely.
completely opposite. And it's like,
well,
he's just
spoiler
showing
alert,
I can do what I want.
Oh wait, he didn't die in Inglourious Basterds, did he? He got that. He was basically a POW.
Yeah, he got that thing he done to his forehead and powed.
Yeah. Ah, well, because I was like, he could have been typecast as like the guy that died, but yeah, he didn't die in that one. But yeah, well,
I'd like to carry on something there regarding Mads Mikkelsen.
Exactly, fire away.
I am like a huge Mads Mikkelsen fan, and as pointed out, Anthony Hopkins obviously won his Oscar for Hannibal. Now I've read all the books, and as much as everyone remembers Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal, rereading them, I just see Mads Mikkelsen. I think he has been the best incarnation of Hannibal, and also I'm going to go there with the Fantastic Beasts. You know, like Johnny Depp, obviously.
Yeah, yep. I know that you've met that certain person. Here we go. What you may end up like shitting in your own grave here.
I might do, actually. I mean, Johnny Depp's performance as Grindelwald was absolutely incredible. It was very Johnny Depp-like. But that being said, Mads Mikkelsen taking over, I actually thought he was the better choice because he got more screen time, rather like Johnny Depp had got hardly anything, so you couldn't really compare the two. So I was approached by several people recently saying, right, is Johnny Depp going to come back to Fantastic Beasts? And I says, well, I don't want him to because I want Mads Mikkelsen to continue it. And I think Mads Mikkelsen would be an excellent choice as Doom because he can embody any kind of character, and he probably will steal something from the wardrobe. He steals everything from wardrobes in every film. So there's a little bit of fun fact for you there.
There we go.
He'd probably try and steal like the costume or something.
It just made me wonder what he stole from Hannibal. I'm interested with that one.
It was a suit. It was one of the. I think it was the blue suit that he wore. That he stole.
Man, I was hoping it was like Eddie Izzard's like pretend leg that they were going to eat.
I was just going to say, he's probably got Eddie Izzard's leg just sitting on a thing on his wall going, yep, that was me.
No, it was. I'm sure it was the blue suit that he took and from Fantastic Beasts, I think it was either a suit or a jacket he took. It's just little things like things he steals.
Well, I wonder I wonder if he really took the Death Star plans for Rogue One.
Interesting, he might have.
Yeah,
he might be the key to the success for Star Wars. Bring back his character, I say, because he was so underused in Rogue One.
Well, if they can just explain away that Palpatine came back, you can get him back.
Exactly.
Yep. And since we are on the Star Wars route, John Boyega, what do you think he's gonna be casting in the MCU?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's Black Panther 2 coming out. Obviously, he's nowhere near that just now because he was doing something else when that was getting filmed. So it could be a future Black Panther thing. There's supposedly a Black Panther series in the works, so he could be coming in for that.
Interesting.
He could be coming in as Johnny Storm.
That could be very interesting. Well, but at the same time, I know what would happen. Everybody would just want Chris Evans to come back for that because he was literally the for that now. I know, but he was literally the shining light of those two films. What?
I heard a rumor for Boyega. He's going to be in the sequel to Captain Marvel.
Oh,
the Marvels.
Yeah, there's no confirmation on character, but there is that rumor going about that it'll be that film.
Yeah, there's also talk that he's going to be like the next Falcon. Now that Falcon's Captain America, and I'm like, I personally think if they're going to use John Boyega, use him as something that is that no one will expect, because like we've went down Black Panther, like Falcon, like all the roles that are kind of stereotyped, as like and I don't mean this in a bad way, but they're stereotyped as the black guy. What I want it to be something totally just out there. I would love to see him even as like just like a alternate reality Wolverine, just for shits and giggles. What, just for like, even for, it just comes in one scene like, fuck this bub, and just goes away again. Something like, just something so random, and then you have like, you know, like the actual Wolverine character or whatever. But because it's quite interesting, because there's been a lot of rumors about who's going to be the Wolverine of the MCU, and I'm like, do we need to have the Wolverine? Well, I'm still not over Old Man Logan. I'm still not over it yet.
I'm not over that yet either.
That destroyed me. Seeing that, and then seeing like Avengers Infinity War, it was like everybody just ripped every part of my soul out. It was crushing.
I know.
I have a theory about Wolverine. I genuinely do, and it might be far-fetched. Taron Egerton was basically begging for the role. And it doesn't seem like his name's popped up. So there has been a few characters potentially for Henry Cavill. I think maybe you might get a shock and it could be Henry Cavill. He could play, is it Captain Britain, Mr. Britain, or one? I don't know the character, or Hyperon as well.
Is it Hyperion?
Hyperion,
yeah.
It's an interesting
I've heard those names been getting thrown about, but
somebody said Wonder Man.
Wonder Man.
No.
But give him a character they can do justice to.
They've technically already cast Wonder Man, because in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it's Nathan Fillion.
That's right.
He's got a picture, and it's the guy. It's the character's name. I can't remember the character's name, but it's his name. And it's like, he is Wonder Man. And the only reason he's in there is because James Gunn loves him. And he always gets him in.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just make you a Wonder Man.
Yeah. See, I'm okay with that. All I want is someone to get Brendan Fraser in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want Brendan Fraser in the MCU. He's been out the game too long. We want him back. Brendan, and we love you.
He's lost out on his superhero moment because of
Batgirl.
Exactly. Which
it's
is
so
an
sad.
Absolute
it really is shocking.
Well, since we are going to dive into the crap fest that is DC, let's jump into the next subject, Rosie.
Well, with Warner Brothers and Discovery merging and the current problems with the projects, is the future of DC movies safe?
I would personally say no, considering that every actor's agent is telling them, if you're going to sign on for any superhero project, don't make it DC.
Yeah.
Well, they're like swaying off the actors in droves, been like, don't do it. The only one that I've seen that they've kept on and that I'm chuffed about is Harley Quinn. Well, because it's got renewed for a 4th season, and I'm like, yes, because that's a brilliant series. Well, love the voice cast, love the animation style, love everything about it. I just think it's great. Like, even like the actors that it's Alan Tudyk that's playing Joker in it.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic Joker. Well, obviously nowhere near as good as the Hamill, which we'll touch on later on, but just brilliant. And I loved the fact that like when in the first series, spoiler alert, like Bruce Wayne gets unmasked as Batman and he shoots the guy, because he was like, the whole point is the mystery and the intrigue, and then he's like, well, now that I know, where's my electric car? I was like, brilliant, because that's what you would do if you had like something like billionaire like Elon Musk like tied up. You would be like, how come you've not got the electric cars out yet? What's going on? Where's the flying cars, you dick? You'd love to see something like that. I personally think DC is in a lot of trouble. I'm really worried about it. But what about you, Kev? What do you think?
Well, since this merger with Discovery, it's just been shit stains on everything. They've come in and said, oh, we don't like that, we'll scrap that. Oh, I don't like this, scrap that. Oh, we'll not renew that. Titans, nah, nobody's really watching it. Doom Patrol, nah, nobody's really watching it. They seem to be shitting on Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. I hate Warner Brothers for that majorly. Brendan Fraser is getting screwed royally. Wow. And I really hope that he wins the Oscar for The Whale and just does a fuck you DC moment, or fuck you Warner Brothers moment, and just balls it.
Yeah.
No, obviously he wouldn't because he's like the nicest guy on
He's
the
too
planet.
nice. He's too nice, aye.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I would...
there's been talk that Warner Brothers Discovery are actually going to be bought over because they're like spewing money. They've got no money because of the merger. So it's like a brand new company. They have nothing there. That's why they're scrapping all these projects. So the taxman can't come and say, "Oh, you're going to make money for that. You could make money for that." That's why they're deleting them completely. So they can say, "Look, we don't have anything here. We are starting new projects. We need funding for this. We need funding for that." Wow. And they're saying, if we delete them, they're not there. We can't make money from them. The taxman can't come for us.
Wow.
But if they've got no money to do these projects and they're going to other people to get money to do these projects, they're going to go under. It's happened with so many other companies, and it's the exact same happening every day. There's something new. Oh, Warner Brothers are doing this now. Oh, no, they're not doing this. They're doing something else. And it's like, never have I heard so much bad press about a company after a merger so quickly.
Well, and Rosie, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because also you go to like a lot of the like conventions and stuff like that, and DC cancelled theirs, essentially because they have nothing. What did you make of that?
You know what? I mean, I'm more of a DC fan than Marvel fan, believe it or not. I like grew up with Batman and things like that, and as a fan, I'm just disappointed at the way everything is going just now. I mean, they have brought out some quality things, but I mean, for example, Shazam, they brought that out, which I think is a brilliant film.
Yeah.
The sequel is highly anticipated, and they've put it back.
Yep.
But yet they've got the likes of The Flash still going, powering through after all this controversy with Ezra Miller. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to go there again. Amber Heard with Aquaman, she's still in Aquaman 2. You know, and Axe and Johnny Depp from Fantastic Beasts as well, which was another Warner Brothers film. But yet they're still powering through with Ezra Miller. I just think that they're very contradictory in what they're saying. They're not giving the fans what they want. They're ruining a lot of people's childhoods. That's my opinion on it. And at the convention as well, I just think that was damn right disgusting of them.
No, definitely. Yeah. Well, and as we discussed in like one of the previous episodes, Kev, like Aquaman 2 has also been postponed because they are allegedly like cutting the Amber Heard scenes. So that'll have another impact. And again, it's like the guys like Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, like the ones that have they've got the good reputation. They've got a great thing going about it, and you're just like, I feel so bad. Especially if they do reshoots, because I've just seen that Jason Momoa has shaved his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
get the wig out.
All that lovely hair gone.
Listen, I'm jealous of Jason Momoa's hair.
I'll give some of mine.
Hair is beautiful. Well, it was beautiful. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a beautiful guy. What can we say? He went from like being like a lifeguard to being on Atlantis, and then being the king of Atlantis. So yeah.
He must have a thing about water then.
He must do, aye.
Definitely. He's definitely got something to do with water.
And plus, one of his other things is called sea. Just the word sea. It's not the sea, but it's just sea. It's like he's got a thing coming. Is that aye? What's your next thing? Waterworld.
Hey, don't be surprised if they reboot that with him.
I would not be surprised.
See, but yep. I think the way that Warner Brothers could win people back is if they were able to get the rights to a remake of Waterworld with Jason Momoa in it. I think that would be a slam dunk for them. So yeah, hire me. I cost a lot of money for these ideas.
The thing is, they have got quite a lot of slam dunks with a lot of their films. They're just not doing anything with it.
Exactly.
I mean, for example, like, see Joker. Like, I love Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I think it was a very good interpretation of it. But there is no need to bring out a sequel that's a musical.
Yep.
That's not what the fans want.
No. Well, it was a surprise for a lot of things. I remember first seeing it, and it was just basically Taxi Driver.
Of course.
Yep.
I just thought they wanted to, we thought, right, they wanted to do a psychological thriller. They weren't sure if it would sell. So they thought, let's tweak it and put it into the DC universe and see if we get a response. Say what, and then that obviously got a response, and they were like, okay, right, we're setting it there, done. Oh, sequel material. No, Joaquin Phoenix has never done a sequel. Just
Never.
don't do that to the guy.
I like the symbology of the way they went. I mean, like you say, Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy as well was very highlighted in it.
Yeah.
I think
And
what
Robert
I
De Niro
really
being
loved,
in it as well.
exactly. One thing that I really did enjoy about Joker wasn't just a person; it was a movement. That's what I really liked about it. And being a massive Joker fan, reading from day dot right up to now, I think that's probably one of the best things I've ever done, making it a movement rather than just one sole person.
Yeah, and it reminded me so much of Gotham, what how they done that version of Ed Jerome and how he became the movement, and it was Jeremiah as well.
Yeah,
anyway, we will leave that world behind, and we'll talk about another world, a world war, you could say.
Yes, World War Hulk is in development. So how do you feel about it, and do you think it's needed?
I personally don't think it's needed. I'm intrigued by it, but I don't think it's needed. But I'm wondering how they're going to get around it, because the last time I checked, they couldn't do anything to do with Hulk for a solo movie because Universal still had the rights to it. And that was the whole thing with like how he was always like a supporting character rather than like the main guy. So it'll be interesting. And Rosie and I had a quick discussion before we went on air, and one of the things around it is, we've got Thunderbolt Ross, and we're like, well, sadly the actor who played him has passed away, so how they
William Hartnell.
So how are they going to work around that?
You certainly don't want to ruin continuity, especially in the MCU. You can't do it through another like multiverse type thing. It would need to still be him.
Yeah, definitely. So we were talking, like, Kevin, what we thought, Julia Dreyfus's character, essentially becoming the next Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the kind of most logical way that they would go about it?
I think that's the way it's going, because she seems to be working with him or for him.
Could be something maybe that she killed him off screen, to take his job.
Could be, yeah.
She seems the type.
Yeah.
Aye, because they should not recast him.
No.
Let his legacy live on as it is, like what they're doing with Black Panther. They're not recasting.
Exactly.
Which I think is the best way to go. Sadly, Chadwick Boseman died. Don't recast, because that just dulls what he's done.
Yeah, it's a legacy for a reason. You don't want
to.
It's the same deal like where I think with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, like he played the character for 17 years, and then they were instantly like, who's going to replace him? I'm like, he's done 17 years in that role. He had cancer 3 times during it, or that run of his role, and still kicked a lot of ass. Show some respect. Let us mourn this character.
Yeah.
There's also another possible continuity problem if they went ahead with World War Hulk. I read that the Illuminati sometimes dips into this. Now, we've just recently seen Illuminati in Doctor Strange, and it was Patrick Stewart that played Professor X. So again, where does that leave obviously the rumours?
The whole thing about World War Hulk is he's been sent off to a planet, and then he just becomes a complete rage monster, takes over this planet, builds an army, comes back to Earth to kill everybody that pissed him off. And in She-Hulk, spoiler if you've not seen it, you see him in the ship going back to Sakaar. So it's going to be he's going back there to solve why there's a ship came to try and blow him up.
It's something that I don't really
that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and with the way Hulk is now, obviously he's smart Hulk. I just have a bad feeling that instead of it being like World War Hulk, it's going to be like House of Cards Hulk.
Yeah.
Where he's going back, and he's not going to be the rage monster, and we're going to see a lot of fighting. He's going to be the Frank Underwood, of Sakaar, going in trying to change the system from the inside and being all sneaky. that would actually be an interesting series.
He would also need to do yoga. I think seeing him doing yoga would be very, very detrimental to the story if they did that.
Yeah, and you would need to have Jeff Goldblum in it.
Absolutely.
100%, because that'd be the way to get him in, because he was like, that was his guy. And he's like, I'm back and I've reformed, and bring it all in. It's like he's the second in command. It's just like bashes his head right off. And he just becomes like the new king. Something like that. I'm really sadistic, but I love it. I still think it would be a great.
We should write it. I think we should actually write this.
Well, I think. Well, for spoiler alert for my other channel, Ginger Engine, I'm writing my own Thomas content, so might as well. Why not?
There you go.
Yep, it's a brave new world. And speaking of brave new world, something that was a brave new world back in the 90s, which is recently turned 30.
Yep.
I know. Batman the animated series is now 30 years old. Do you think it is a definitive superhero, animated or live action? What do you think? What's your thoughts on
it? Kev?
I totally think it is. I mean, it completely changed the superhero genre on TV. Everything strived to be like the Batman. You had the X-Men series as well, round about the same time. And it totally copied that. It was darker than the comics had been up until then. You had the Spider-Man series coming in. That was dark as well, because Batman worked as a series. It wasn't just a cartoon for kids. It was a series piece of animation. It wasn't an animated show for kids. It was an animated series. Plain and simple. The casting as well was fantastic. You could not have picked a better cast for it.
Yep. So that was something interesting for you, since you are our Joker aficionado, Rosie. Where does Mark Hamill's Joker rank in your list?
Well, when I did my Joker week a couple of years ago, I found out that your favourite Joker statistically comes from when you were born. So the first Joker that comes to your mind is the one that you grew up watching. So I watched the reruns of Adam West's with Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson and Mark Hamill were all there growing up for me. I personally think that Mark Hamill is the best Joker. For me anyway, because he's got the voice, he's got the sarcasticness, he's got the evilness, he's got everything that when you're reading about Joker, it's just Mark Hamill. And I mean, as I was saying to Andrew before we came on here, the only comic I've read is The Killing Joke. And I just see Mark Hamill. I can't see any other person playing the Joker in that but Mark Hamill. And when they did officially release the animation a couple of years ago, it's just exactly what I wanted it to be. You know, so for me, he is the best Joker.
Very wise choice.
Yeah.
And I would love to have seen him as actual Joker. I know that the Arrowverse, you get the trickster, but you just could tell there was so much of his Joker influence in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if there was any way to do like an old man Joker style film with Mark Hamill, you know, like he's essentially like the ending of Gotham, like where he's like Batman's not been around and he's just all decrepit and like, nah, I'm not around. Then all of a sudden something happens. Like, he just hears like Bruce Wayne. Imagine Bruce Willis. That would be interesting. Well, and he's just like, you know, Bruce Wayne's back and all of a sudden he's like, hey, and it's just.
I'm going to counter that. I'm going to counter your idea of Mark Hamill being old Joker. Willem Dafoe, the only man that should have been Joker, and old Joker for him. Sorry, I have to.
That's a very interesting choice, Rosie. Like the Green Goblin as Joker. I can kind of see, like, you know, from the way his facial expressions are, because he's just like he's like the horror rubber face Jim Carrey. Oh wow. That's hot. That is gonna like haunt my nightmares. Definitely. That's wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
So there's your one. But Kev, if you could have any actor that's not played Joker to play like the Clown Prince of Crime, Who would you choose?
That's a tough one.
Mm.
I've never really thought of it because the people that have played them, it's like, how can you top it? And then somebody comes in and tops it. So it's like, I mean, when I heard that Joaquin Phoenix was coming in as the Joker, I was like, how's this going to play out? It's a strange choice. He's not your typical superhero type actor. I mean, he is fantastic as Joker. I've never actually seen him be bad in a film. And it's like, right, so watch Joker, I was like, that's fucking fantastic. He's the definitive Joker now. It's like, honestly, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah,
you know, there is a new Joker as well, in the middle of the Batman. It's very Barry Keoghan, is it?
Yeah.
And his Joker looks interesting as well. I think that'll be quite good.
Yeah, it does look quite an interesting one. One that I would have liked to see, and it's a totally like out the ballpark one. I would have liked to have seen Ethan Hawke, especially like with his recent turns, like in like the horror genre in particular. He's got the skill, he's got the look. If you watched like Moon Knight, he can also do the kind of being the nice guy and then turning it on a dime as well. Like he's got a great range. And I think if he was given enough time and enough prep work, like he would absolutely nail it. I think he could have like that wee kind of combo of the Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix style. He could be like the bit in the middle, you know, like Joaquin, how it started, and then the middle bit, and then like Ethan Hawke, Heath Ledger, the how's it going kind of one. Just that kind of evolution, something to kind of plug the gap.
Just don't let Jared Leto do it again, please.
God no. God no.
Oh, no. I was so excited for Jared Leto as a Joker, and then I seen the film and went, what? It just was like desecrated Joker for me.
The second that I seen like the still, like the first image leaked, I was just like, nope, not a chance. No way. No chance in hell. Ain't happening.
Yeah.
Nope. And just tried to kind of block it from my existence. The Snyder cut, in fairness, has been in that. I thought, okay, there's a little bit of redemption there. That's enough to say that. And that's another reason why I think DC are really shooting themselves in the foot constantly, because they did a press release recently saying that they should never have released the Snyder cut.
And I'm never going to stop hearing this.
Yeah. And I'm like, honestly, the Snyder cut probably made bank for you. And you're saying, oh, we shouldn't have released it. Is that just their way of trying to cover up the fact that everybody's trying to clamor for Batgirl now? Essentially, it's going to be like the next Snyder cut, the next generation.
Yep.
Well, they're talking about releasing the Ayer cut for Suicide Squad as well, because they didn't get too much Joker. You know, we didn't give him the recognition that he got. No, it was just crap. That's the bottom line. You gave him a flimsy script. Jared Leto, as much as he's an oddball guy, he is a good actor. He's very character driven and can be quite methodical as well. And it was basically his for the taking. And I don't think it was his fault. I think it was the way it was written. And I think that, like you say, it did get a bit of redemption in the Snyder cut of Justice League. I would have liked to have seen more of that Joker portrayal for Jared Leto, and I think it might have actually been a lot different. And we might have seen more Joker movies from that, but like you say, DC has just shot themselves in the foot completely.
Yep. Majorly. Like, blowing the foot off, blowing the leg off, blowing the they're at the stage where it's like just cut off the bottom half. You've just done that much of a doing to yourself. I mean, come on. It's certainly been interesting times to be, like, as you say, you're a DC fan, and where do you worry about the future for DC with this whole Warner Bros. Discovery thing?
Yes, I mean, I say this time and time again. Marvel's got the money to churn out as many films as they want, and they know for a fact people will go and see them. DC's not got the money, or so they say, and they keep cancelling films that we all want to go and see, and it would make them money. I just think that I don't even know. I'm very concerned about a lot of films. I'm concerned as well that maybe about 5, 6, 7 years down the line, they might turn around and say, let's remake the Dark Knight trilogy. You know, which is probably one of the best DC type films, if you think about it, even though it was Nolan's company. I just think that they should not delete these, as Kevin said. They don't delete them, maybe shelve them, and then maybe next year turn around and say, right, okay, we've got Aquaman 2 out the road, we've got Shazam 2 out the road, let's now go and put this on the hype train and get bums in the seats in the cinema to go and see these films, because these are the films people want to see.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100% agree. Because even I was like, well, I would probably want to go and see these films now just to spite them and just be like, look, yes, my ass that never leaves the house came out and seen this. What? Get it round you.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think a lot. Oh, sorry, you go first.
No, you go. You go.
No, what I was going to say is I think a lot of problems have came as well from Warner Brothers doing that small contract with HBO Max as well. I mean, fair enough. COVID, we had to watch films on a digital platform. I do appreciate that, but I think that's kind of made it worse for them. Like, look at Disney; they've got MCU, they've got a whole big platform of not just Disney material. They've got literally everything now on there. I think DC or Warner Brothers should have aimed a little bit bigger than HBO.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was a knee-jerk reaction, like they panicked with the fact, like, like you said, Disney's got everything. I always call Disney like the Witherspoons of entertainment.
Oh God,
it was like they were fucking everywhere.
They are.
And they were. It was just like a knee-jerk reaction. Instead of being like, right, let's go to Amazon, which would have been the logical step, especially with how well The Boys is doing on it.
Oh yes.
And that would have been the logical move, but then they were like, wait, HBO has the Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, they're not. HBO's not essentially for like long-term serialized content. It's like it has its series, it has its lanes with series and great series as well. And then it just kind of goes, movies, nah. I'm just kind of
the movies don't work in there.
So what I was going to say is, with all these things that have been scrapped or pushed, right now, as of this minute, Aquaman 2 was supposed to be out, Black Adam was supposed to be out, Flash was supposed to be out, Shazam 2 was supposed to be out, Batgirl was supposed to be out in November. That's 5 films that they should have had out this year. So they've either been pushed or scrapped completely. And it's like, why though? Why are all these things moving away when the things that were supposed to be out, and they've changed the way they're coming out as well? And it's just the reason for that, nobody knows.
Yeah. They keep saying it's part of this, like they want to try and get like a 10-year plan going with the MCU, but like the kind of MCU thing. And I'm just like, well, there's an interesting thing about that, like what other universes have tried and failed spectacularly. Like the only failure on Tom Cruise's resume is a cinematic universe. For the Mummy.
Yes.
That's
true.
That's like the only fail on his entire like acting CV, and you're like, if Tom Cruise can't make something work for this type of thing, how is it gonna work for anything else? They've just who knows what. If we live in hope, and maybe they'll 10 years down the line they'll have got their shit together, and they'll be like, haha, we were right. But that's me like essentially like in a morphine drip, thinking about that. There's no way it's gonna happen. We live in hope, we pray for the best and anticipate the worst. Well,
definitely.
In an ideal world, Disney will buy Warner Brothers and just start releasing DC stuff.
Probably. I could see that happening, to be fair.
Definitely. Like 100%. I could see that. Or I could see just Amazon buying them out just to piss them off. I could see something like that as well. Just the ultimate irony. Well, Rosie, I know that you have to shoot off as well because, like, you do have, an actual show that you need to do, and do your reviews and whatnot. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. How have you found your first experience in Super Ginge?
I hope it's been okay for you. I can get quite when I start talking, I won't shut up. So my apologies if I overrun.
You fit in with me. You really do. Susan's just always like, right, shut it and let's keep going. But this is what we like. We like the diverse kind of conversations and bits of tangent. That's what I built the brand on. I'm a gabshite.
Yeah.
So gabshites are more than welcome. So looking forward to having you back next week if you're not been traumatized enough by this experience.
No, I'm happily ready to come back next week.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it. It's absolutely fantastic. We'll get you trained up in like the outros as well next week. I'll do this one just for the first one. So until next time, if I get my fingers right, phrasing. Until next time, he's Super.
And he's Ginge.
There we go. You've been out of the game for too long, because you're so used to saying it. Because normally you'd go like, he's Super, he's Ginge, and I'm your host, Susan Sutton, and leave it like that. But beforehand, when it was us, it was like, he's Super, he's Ginge, and we got to get out of here. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So until next time, Kev, he's Super, that way.
He is Ginge.
Yep. And we've been joined by our very special host, Rosie Hughes. Looking forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you, and see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.